There are two main ways to figure a final grade for your class: a running total grade and weighted grades. In a running total, all points are created equal. The final grade is determined by a pretty simple formula: points earned divided by total points available. This is the default setting in Blackboard. If you're using a running total system, the points tally in the totals column automatically. No further setup is required. In a weighted grade scenario, different emphasis is placed on different categories of assignments. For example, 25% participation, which would include discussion boards and journals. 50% assignments, which would include assignments and homework. And 25% quizzes and tests. In this scenario, 25% of the class grade is based on participation, 50% on assignments, and 25% on quizzes. No matter how many points are in each of those categories, be it 10 or 1,000, participation will only be worth 25% of the student's final grade. This is the world of weighted grades, and some departments use these instead of a running totals grading scenario. If you are using weighted grades in your class, you have to set that up in Blackboard. The rest of this video will walk you through the process, and broken down into its parts, it's not very scary. Step 1. Define your grading scenario in your syllabus. How will you be weighting grades? It all starts in the syllabus. Write down the grading scenario and the category names as they appear in your syllabus. Consistency is key. A post-it note works great for this. We'll be using the weights below as a reference: 25% participation, 50% assignments, and 25% quizzes. Step 2. Create grade categories. Log into Blackboard and go into the full grade center of your class. Under the Manage button, select Categories from the drop-down list. In the Categories list, you'll see the default categories in Blackboard. You cannot edit or delete these, but you can and should create categories based on the language used in your syllabus. My category names are participation, assignments, and quizzes and tests. Notice only one category is the same: assignment. That means I need to create two categories. To do that, I click on the Create Category button and enter my category name. In this case, participation. Then click Submit. You'll now see it in the category list alphabetically. Now I'll create the next category, quizzes and tests. Once I click Submit, I'm done with this step. The next step, step 3, is where we create the weights for each category. Click the OK button to get out of category view, and you'll find yourself in the full grade center again. Now we need to tell Blackboard how much weight or percentage each category needs. Click on the drop-down chevron in the weighted total column and select Edit Column Information from the drop-down list. Scroll down to number 3 on the list, select Columns. In the first box on the left, you'll see all of your grade center columns. Ignore them. Under that box is another called Categories to Select. Click a category title, participation in this case, and then click the little right arrow to move it to the big Selected Columns box on the right. Now enter the percentage this category will weigh. In this case, 25%. Repeat the process for the other categories you have. You can see I added the other two categories, and you'll see that the total below adds up to 100%. That is important. Then click Submit. The final step, step 4 in the process, is to make sure all of your activities align with the grading categories, or they won't get caught in the net for students' final grades, which makes your grade center inaccurate. Inaccurate grades equals unhappy students equals lots of paperwork to change grades. There are two ways to change the categories for each of your grade center columns. We can change the category in the grade center column of each item one at a time, or we can change them in the column organization center within Blackboard. Both of these methods occur in the full grade center. To change the category of an item individually, click on the drop-down chevron in the column you wish to change and go to Edit Column Information. Scroll down until you see Category. Use the drop-down menu to change the category this item will be associated with. Then click Submit and you can move on to the next column. Repeat as necessary, or change all of your categories at once in the column organization area of the grade center. To use the column organization center, we begin in the full grade center and we click on the Manage button and come down to column organization from the drop-down menu. This will show me every column in the grade center and a bunch of other helpful information, including the categories for each column. Remember that discussion boards and journals equal participation. Notice I have quite a few discussion boards right here. All I need to do to change this from discussion to participation is to select the boxes that I need, and find any more journals and discussions that I've missed. There's a journal, and there's a discussion. Here's a blog. And once I have selected all of the items that need to be changed, I come down to Change Category to Participation. And now they are all set. Repeat for your other categories. Remember, when you're done, to click Submit for the changes to be saved. And now you're done setting up your grade weights. A few last things to remember is if you create a column manually in your shell, you should periodically go in and check your column organization to make sure that all of your categories are accounted for and there aren't any rogue discussion boards or assignments that aren't being calculated in the final grade.